everybody. Thank you so much for joining the Soroptimist of Huntington Beach for our creative card making fundraiser class. This is our first time doing a virtual class, so we ask that you be patient and just know that we're going to have some fun. And these are very simple cards. And all you need to do is have a couple glue sticks and a good sense of humor, and you'll be fine. So I want everybody to find their first card kit. Look for the one that's going to have some coral and black, and it should have a couple of or a few flowers in there. Look for pieces that look like this, and you know you'll have the correct card kit. So just know there's a lot of little pieces, so when you pull everything out very carefully, some things might go flying, and just be careful that they don't fall on the floor. Check inside your envelope, make sure that there's no little loose pieces in there. So I'm gonna just set the envelope aside for now, and we're gonna lay out our pieces. You should have a big black one. You're gonna have your card base, which looks like this, and a coral piece. And then you'll see you have this big floral piece, and then lots of little flowers and little pieces here that we're gonna just set off to the side for now. We'll get to those in a bit. Now, do know that I am human. I hopefully didn't forget to put anything in your kit. If you do find that there's something missing as we're making this card, just send a message in the chat or email me at georgette@thegirlcave.com and let me know what you're missing, and I will make sure I get it to you. But hopefully that won't be an issue. So the first thing we're going to do is get our card base, which is the big white piece. And you'll see that it has a line down the center. You're just going to fold your card at that line and just give it a really good crease. Okay, we're going to set that to the side for now. We're going to start building the front of our card. So you're looking for these three big pieces. And it basically just be using your glue to mat each piece. So your black one is your base. The next one is your coral piece. And you're going to notice on this paper that one side is textured, the other side is smooth. It's up to you which side you want showing. I personally like the textured side. I think it makes it more interesting, but it's totally up to you. It's your card. You make it how you want. So since I want the textured side showing up, I'm going to just flip it over, and I'm going to get my glue stick and just glue the back side. I always try to get really close to the edges, because if you don't have your edges glued, it's going to kind of curl up when you place it down. It just lays a lot nicer if you get all the way to the edge. This is why I suggested that you have scrap paper, because it can get a little messy when you're going off your edges. But once you have a good solid glue base on there, go ahead and flip it over, and very carefully you're going to lay it down on the black piece so that your sides are even all the way around. And when you feel like you've got it where you want it, just give it a really good rubbing. Now, the nice thing about using a glue stick is it has some forgiveness. So if you put something down and you realize it's not quite right, it's a little crooked, you have a minute or two that you can slide it around until you get it where you want it. So that's why I suggested everybody have glue sticks for this project. So now that we have that done, we're going to go to our next piece, which is your floral piece. Those are peonies. And again, we're just going to flip it over. Oh, actually, this is a double-sided paper. So if you like this look better than the peonies, totally up to you. Once again, it's your card. This would make it a little more masculine, I guess, although we are going to be adding flowers, so still going to be feminine in the end. But choose the side that you want facing up, and then put the glue on the back side. Again, getting all the way to the edges. And just doing enough so that you know it's really gonna stick well once you set it down and it dries. And then very carefully, you're gonna mat this one on top of the coral piece. Make sure you've got nice even edges. Slide it around a little if you're not happy with where it is. And once you're happy with the placement, just give it a good rub in all the way around. And we now have our base for the front of our card. So the next thing you're going to want to do is take this whole set and flip it over. And we're going to once again glue. I told you didn't have to have any skills for this. This is very simple, but you'd be surprised how pretty you can make things with just some simple, basic art supplies. You don't have to have an entire craft room like I do to make a beautiful card. Now, when you have that glued, you're going to get your card base very carefully. Make sure you put it right up to the edge on the front of the card. And once again, when you have it where you want it, just rub it down really well. And now we have a card half done already. Look at that. So let's set that aside and start gathering the next set of things we're going to do. You're going to want your black piece. And you should have a piece that says thinking of you. You're going to flip your thinking of you over and you got it. You're going to glue again. Make sure you do enough so that it's going to stick really well when it dries. And then you're going to mat the thinking of you on the black piece right there. And seal it up real good when you have it where you want it. And now you should have in your kit what we call pop dots. Some of you might have round ones, some of you might have rectangular ones, some of you might have square ones. They all work the same, but you should have these little foam dots that are double-sided. And we're going to use 4 of these right now. We're going to flip your thinking of you over and you're going to peel off 4 pop dots. So you're going to put one towards each corner on the back of your thinking of you piece. So you want to push them down, make sure that they're sticking well. Each of these pop dots is going to have a little piece of paper on the back that you're going to have to carefully peel off. This is the hard part if you don't have fingernails. But go ahead and peel off the backing. And then when you have that done, you're going to take this whole piece, flip it over, and you're going to center it on the front of your card. Now, before you put it down, make sure you don't have your card upside down because your card's going to be opening this way. You want to make sure your thinking of you is facing the right way. If you do it upside down, you're going to have a really wonky card. So just make sure it's opening like this before you lay down that thinking of you. Now these are not as forgiving as glue sticks, so don't press down until you know you have it where you want it, because these things are really sticky. So you just want to really lightly lay it down until you know that you like your placement. And once you do that, go ahead and push where the pop dots are. Just push down real firmly. And then that will stick. And the reason I use the pop dots is it adds dimension to the card. It makes it more interesting, more elegant, more exciting. So at least in my world. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to find your big peony. There should be a coral piece, a black piece, and a green piece. The two with the circles in the middle, some of them might be popped out, some of them might not be. I love you guys, but there was no way I was going to pop out 150 circles. So I'm leaving that up to you. So if the circle in the center is still there, just go ahead and pop it out. So it should be a little hole once you do that. Okay. And now we're going to do probably the hardest thing on this card, which is figuring out aligning the coral on top of the black so that it's matted like that. Sometimes it can be hard, but just look for a distinctive corner or something, like there's a big circle there or a point there, and then you can usually figure out how it maps perfectly. Well, we're going to go ahead and put glue on the back of the coral piece. And again, this is nice to be using glue because when you lay it down, you can slide it around if it didn't align perfectly. So got that guy all done. So it looks like that. And then once you have that done, you're going to flip the whole piece over and put glue on the back of the black. And again, you have to kind of figure it out, but you got your green piece that you're going to figure out how it aligns. And looking at the distinctive parts. There's some pointy parts and stuff that you can tell are going to line up. So go ahead and glue that down on top of your leaf. So when you're done, it should look like this. Okay. So now we are going to be putting this on our card, and it's up to you where you want to place it. There's kind of a big open space that was left specifically for your flowers to the left of the thinking of you. You can put it like right up to the words. You can kind of hang it off the edge. This is where you get to use creative license. Do it however you think it looks nice. But we're going to put glue on the back of this piece, and then we're going to lay it down on the thinking of you. And I personally like it with the leaves hanging off a little on the edge. When you have it where you like it, press it firmly so it's going to stick. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to find a small black peony piece and a small coral. We're not going to be using the green piece now. So just the black and the coral. And again, you want to go ahead and pop out your little center of your flower if it's still in there. Okay, so it looks like that. And you guessed it, we're going to glue on the back of the coral. And then mat it on top of the black piece. So now, instead of gluing this down, you're going to use your last pop dot. So grab your last one, and you're going to put it on the back. Try to center it or put it so that the pop dot doesn't show when you flip the flower over. So try to get it so no edges are hanging off. And then again, you're going to peel the backing. And you can lay this flower down wherever you like on your card, wherever you think it looks good. Or you're just going to kind of overlay it over the big one. And then when you have it where you want it, make sure you press it real firmly so that it sticks. And there you go. We have the front of the card done. So I always like to include something on the inside of the card too. I think it's fun when you open your card up and there's like an unexpected surprise in there. So that's where all these extra pieces come in. We're going to decorate the inside of the card as well. And to do that, I want you to find your black strip. And then you should have a skinny floral strip. And once again, you can use whatever side paper you like better on this one because it's double-sided. It's totally up to you. Yes. And then we're going to go ahead and glue the back side. And then we're going to lay it down on top of the black. Now this one is going to come all the way up to the edge of the black. So you're only going to have a border on the top and the bottom. You're not going to have a border on the left and the right. It's going to go all the way to the edge. So it's just a stripe down the center. And then just flip it over and glue on the back of the black piece. Again, try to get those edges real good so it's not flapping off on your card. And then we are going to lay this right down at the very bottom of your card. So right at the bottom edge. So this way it still leaves lots of room for you to write messages and stuff. Okay, so it should look like that. And then last but not least, we're going to assemble our final flower. So you should have 3 pieces left and pop out your centers. And you're just going to go through the whole routine again of gluing the coral on top of the black and then glue that on top of the green. This little center is giving me some trouble. Just cut my nails so I don't have as good a leverage as usual. Sometimes it helps if you carefully bend the paper a little bit. You don't want to do it too much so it gets really wrinkled, but I'm going to go ahead and use a pen because it's driving me nuts. Okay, got it. So again, just go ahead and mat coral on top of black. And you're gonna line it up. Again, look for a distinctive feature so you can figure out where it aligns. And then lay it on top of your green. Let's see, where does this go? Not there. Seems like it should be easier. Looking for the little pointy part. Okay. And then once you have that all assembled, you're going to go ahead, just glue the back of the green. And I like to lay mine over in the bottom left corner. You can do it in the bottom right. You can do it in the center. You can do this however you want because it's your card. And everybody has different opinions and they all come out beautifully. And voila, we now have our first completed card. Okay, so let's go ahead and set our card aside so we have plenty of working space for the next one. Next one we're going to work on is called a fun flip fold style. And when it's completed, this is what your card's going to look like. It's going to flip open that way, flip open that way. So looks like that. So this should be easy to pick out from your card kits because it's the only square card that we're doing. And just look for that teal paper. Let me put this up in the corner so you can see. And again, you just want to really carefully pull your stuff out. This one, thankfully, does not have a lot of little pieces, but it's still easy to lose things. They go flying across the room. Just make sure you got everything out of your envelope and then set your envelope aside. And you should have a large card base. And then you're going to have a white piece that's a large rectangle. You're going to have a big square teal piece, a smaller teal piece, a white piece of cardstock, a floral cardstock, and then you're going to have red and a smaller floral, and then you're going to have a happy birthday, and then you're going to have a blank. Okay. So again, if you're missing any pieces, just email me at georgette@thegirlcave.com. That's GEORGETTE, and let me know what you're missing, and I will make sure I get it to you. Okay. So we're going to once again start with the card base. We're going to fold it at the line in the center. Now you're going to notice when you fold this that one side is an inch shorter than the other. Okay. I don't know if you can see that with this lighting, but this ends right here. You've got an extra inch there, which is good. That's what we want. So once you have a good crease on that, let's set that aside. And we're going to be doing a lot of gluing again on this card. So I want you to find your smaller teal piece. And you'll know you have the right one because it's going to fit perfectly over the front of that shorter side. So once you have that, go ahead and put your glue on one side of it. Some of you have textured paper and some of you don't. The store ran out of the textured. So if you have the textured paper, again, you can choose which side you want showing up. If you don't have the textured paper, you can glue either side. It doesn't matter. Get those edges really well. And when you're ready, you're going to just lay this down so it aligns on that front piece. And thank God for glue. Can slide it around a little so it's perfect. And when you have it where you want it, make sure you're rubbing it really good. When you do that rubbing, make sure you're especially getting the edges so it'll lay flat when it dries. Okay, just give you all a second to get caught up. right. Now the next piece is going to be your white square cardstock. And you'll know you have the right one because when you lay it down, it's going to be matted all around by the teal. So when you have that piece, again, just put some glue on the back. And again, some of you might have textured and some of you might not. So just choose which side you want. If you do have the textured, I always go textured. Adds that pizzazz. Now you can see why I recommended at least 2 glue sticks. We go through a lot of glue with this. And then when you have that done, just go ahead and mat it over your teal piece so that you have even borders all the way around. And when you're happy with the placement, go ahead and rub it, especially around the edges. See how easy it is to make pretty cards? Everybody can go out and go shopping now at Michael's and Joann's and stock up on stuff. You're going to all be motivated. Okay, so when you have that done, you're going to find your rectangular large floral piece, and I'm sure you guys have figured this out by now. This is going to mat on top of the white one, so go ahead and glue on the back of this one. I don't know about you, but I have a big gluey mess now on my mat, but that's okay. And when you're ready, go ahead and center it. Actually, I can feel a dry piece I missed an edge. My glue stick is pooping out on me. Okay. And then lay that down right over the top of that white one with your even borders. Smooth it all out. Starting to look like a card. Now everybody should look like this at this point. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is work a little bit on the inside. So we're going to open it up and find your very large teal piece. And you can see it's going to fit perfectly on the right side inside your card. So do your gluing. You're all experts at that now. And we're going to glue this one down. Remember, on the right side inside of the card. Hopefully this volume isn't so strong that you can hear my stomach just rumbled. Okay. And I'm going to lay this right up to the edges on the inside. Make sure you get it all the way to the edge so that your card's going to close properly. And again, definitely make sure you're all the way around on the edges is really firmly adhering. If you missed a spot, you can kind of lift up and glue a little underneath and try it again. You want that to stay super secure. Then you're going to see it's all coming together now, because when you close it, you see how pretty it's looking from the front now. I'll just give everybody a sec to finish up. Okay, so hopefully everybody's all caught up now. And you're going to find your big rectangular piece of white cardstock. Now this one is not going to have the line down the center, so you're going to have to trust yourself to do this. But just go ahead and fold it in half like this. When you have it even, just go ahead and give it a good crease. Nice good crease like that. So then you have like a little mini card now, okay? Now this is gonna seem complicated, but it's really easy. If you just follow along with me, we're gonna open this card up and you're gonna take this card and put it around the front. So the crease from your little white card is right along the edge of your big card. All right. Now stay with me here because this is not difficult. I want you to open the card all the way up. So you've got your little flappy piece here. And I want you to glue the flappy piece only. Do not glue anything around it, just your little flappy piece. I don't know if that's the technical term, but we're calling it flappy piece. Do the best you can to get up to the edges. Try not to get any on the other part, the border around there, just your flappy piece. So when you feel like you have a sufficient amount of glue, I want you to open it up like this, or actually close it, I guess, and just take a look and make sure your border at the top is about the same as your border at the bottom, so you know that this is centered. So right now, this is about equal to this. And what I'm going to do is press this down, and I'm going to just firmly rub this really good. So this is still open right here. We didn't glue here. Just rub it real good. And then you're going to flap that open and flap that open. And look at that. It's centered right across here, which is what we want. So again, you can rub it again really well when you're opened up, just to make sure it's adhering. Get some glue on my card. It's okay. That's what fingers are for. Rubs right off. Okay. Hopefully that made sense to everybody. So right now, ideally, the outside's going to look like this. Your inside's going to look like this. Okay. So let's go ahead and keep building our inside since we're in there already. You should have a small square floral piece that's going to fit perfectly right here. Okay. So go ahead and do your gluing on the back of that. And when you're ready, just lay it down so it should fit just about perfectly on the inside. Smooth it all out, make sure everything's sticking real well. So now you have this little flappy pretty piece. Our flappy piece is getting better looking all the time. Okay, just gonna wait till everybody looks like they're caught up. All right. So now you will also have a blank white square. It's going to have some red around the edges. I inked the edges for you because I think it adds a little pop of color. It's a little more exciting than a plain red piece. So on the back of it, where you won't see the red, you're going to go ahead and put your glue on that. Unless you hate the look of the red, then you can put the glue on the red side where the red's showing. And then this is going to center right in the middle of this floral piece on the inside of your card. So this is where you can write a little message, draw a picture, whatever you want. But yeah, that's where you're going to put your little sentiment for the birthday person. Now your inside should look like that. Get all the little gluey pieces off. Okay, so now let's go ahead and finish up the front of our card. So we're going to fold the big flap over like that. And then fold your little flappy over. So it's plain white right now, boring. We're going to fix that. You're going to find your red piece. And you guessed it, the red piece is going to be matted right on the center of that. So go ahead and glue. And we're going to mat it right here on the front of that white piece. It's all coming together now, starting to look like a card. Alrighty, and when you are ready, we are putting our final piece on, which is the happy birthday. I don't even think I need to tell you what to do, because you're all experts now, but just in case, go ahead and glue the back. And center it right on the front of that red piece. So all we used on this card was some cardstock, some glue, and a stamp. Look how simple that was to create a very elegant, wow-worthy card that somebody will be excited to receive. And just to make sure, this is what it should look like. And there you go. We've now completed 2 cards. While you're finishing up, I'm going to set those off to the side, and we're going to start working on our final card of the night, which I'm hoping you don't all hate me for this one, because this one has a lot of little pieces, but it's worth it, because look at how cute it is. Look at how adorable this card is. Definitely worth it. It's very easy, just a lot of little pieces. Okay. So let me set that one off. You should hopefully still have one kit left. This one, you will have a little plastic baggie because it's got tiny pieces. Please just be really careful when opening, because this is where you're going to tell me, I didn't get this piece, I didn't get that piece, and you're going to find it later stuck to your shoe. It's going to be in your hair. It's going to be on your computer. Your dog's going to be wearing the piece. It's trust me, these little pieces go flying. So just be super careful when taking stuff out of there. So you're going to have your little baggie of goodies. You're going to have one piece of big cardstock, and then you're going to have your card base. And here we go again, finding your card base and just folding it at the line in the center and giving it a really good crease. And then you're going to find your piece of wood grain cardstock like this. And you guessed it, we're going to be gluing the back of it. Just get all nice and gluey. And when you're ready, it should fit perfectly or somewhat perfectly on the front of your card. Close to perfect. If it has some imperfections, it's even better, because then people know it was handmade with love. Mine's got a little bit of fuzzies at the top. Okay, so right now, the card's gonna look like this. Okay, now comes the fun part. Don't be afraid. Let's start with your little banners. You're gonna have two in here. One of them's gonna say, oops. One of them's gonna say, so thankful for. The other one's gonna say, everything you do. Right now, you want the so thankful for. Okay, and we're gonna glue the back of your so thankful for. It looks like that. Go ahead and glue the back of it. And then we're gonna be putting this up at the top left corner of your card. There you go. Okay, so everybody should look like this now. Okay. Now we get to start assembling pumpkins. So you're going to have a taller, large pumpkin. You're going to have a medium-sized, chubby pumpkin. And then you're going to have a little chubby pumpkin, little baby pumpkin. So each of these is going to have some pieces that we're going to assemble on top of it. So I need you to look for a piece like this. Got like the little cutouts. That one's going to lay on top of your medium chubby pumpkin. You can see, I'm going to put it on top of there, how it aligns on top of that. You should have another one that looks just like it, only smaller. That one's going to go on top of your little baby pumpkin. And you can tell if it's right because your stems are going to align. So just flip it over. If it doesn't line up on the stems, flip it over because you got it backwards. So it should look like that. And then the big guy has got a piece that looks like this. It's like a long skinny piece that's going to go right down the center. You can see it's got the little stem and it's going to go right down the center. So when you have those 3 pieces, those 3 overlays, go ahead and just start gluing. So you want to adhere them right on top of the pumpkin bases. So I'm starting with my chubby pumpkin. You can start with whatever one you want. And just lining them up. If you find that you put the glue on the wrong side of the overlay, just flip the pumpkin around. Okay, so that one. And just go ahead, work on all 3. Work at your own pace. I'm usually the slowest one in the room. Probably made 1,000 cards in my lifetime. I'm still the slowest. So this guy's just going right up the center of the tall one. Like that. And then let's work on baby chubby pumpkin. Scary how cute I think these things are. I really need to get out more. Okay. And just gonna align this one so it fits. It's supposed to fit. Oh, look at that. I did it backwards. Okay. Okay. Now, when you have your overlays on all 3 of your pumpkins, there's still another piece that we need to add to each of them. So you're going to dig around in your little pile of pieces and you're going to find the stems. So you should have one. You can tell pretty easily it's going to fit. Oops, got too much glue on my finger. It's going to fit right on the top of this guy. So I find it's easier to glue the stem itself than to try to put the glue on that little tiny brown piece. I just do the glue directly on the pumpkin and then slap this guy down there and scooch him around till he's looking like he's where he belongs. And I am guilty of this. I was just going, oh no, I don't have the other stems. And I realized, no, I do. They're just still, and they got hid behind other things. These pieces are tiny. You're gonna find another piece. Hopefully you can see this. That looks like that. It's like a little tiny brown, almost heart shape. That's gonna go on your, there's 2 sizes. There's gonna be a bigger one and a smaller one. So those are gonna go on your chubby big pumpkin and your chubby little pumpkin. And again, I'm just going to glue directly on the pumpkin rather on that little brown piece. And then I'm going to stick the brown piece down on top and press down like so. So then your pumpkin's going to start looking like an actual pumpkin. Okay. And then we have the little tiny baby stem. Again, it looks like a little brown heart almost. You can see that tiny little thing. And again, thank you, glue, for being forgiving. You can slide it around till it goes where it belongs. Doesn't have to be perfect. People are going to be so wowed by the card, they're not going to notice little tiny imperfections. Oh, this one needs more glue. So when you are done, you should have pumpkins that look like this. Okay, 3 pumpkins. I'll just wait till everybody's caught up. Okay. So the next part is fun because this is where you get to use your creative license. And you can lay these pumpkins and leaves and branches out however you see fit. I'll show you how I did mine. I put my large pumpkin down first because it's the tallest. I wanted it in the back. And then I overlaid it a little bit to the left with the chubby one. And then I did a little bit to the right with the baby one. You can line this up however you want. You can line them all up in a row. You can put your little one over here and your big one there. This is where you get to just be creative and lay them out however you like. I'm going to keep the card out so you can see how I did mine. But again, this is how you get to be the director of your own design. I would start with putting the pumpkins down first, though, before putting down leaves and everything, because we're going to just use those as filler to put in on everything. So if you are doing it similar to mine, just make sure you don't put this too far over because you want to leave room for this guy. You don't want him hanging off the edge. So just kind of spatially figure out how you want it to go. And then just start laying out your design. So like I said, I start with my big one. Just gonna glue him down. And I'm not putting him all the way down at the bottom because I want to leave room for the other pumpkins to come forward and for some leaves and everything. So when you can see, I just put it about there. There's no mistakes at this part. This is called creative opportunity. You just keep designing until it looks good. All right. So now that I have my big guy down, I'm going to go ahead and do my little guy, or actually my medium guy. And I'm putting him slightly lower and off to the left. And then I'm going to work on my baby. And put that right down here on the right. It's all coming together. And then you should have, hopefully, at least 2 little fern branches. You can stick these wherever you want. The nice thing is because we use glue, you can kind of lift your edges a little bit and tuck underneath. Well, if you have fingernails, really wish I hadn't cut my fingernails. You can just kind of tuck them back behind things. You can put them down at the base of your pumpkin like this if you want. That looks kind of cute too. Put one back up here. Basically, you're just going to lay them wherever you want, But if you want it behind, just kind of lift up a little at the edges and shove it under. So another thing with the ferns, I don't know if you can tell, when I did my card, I only glued them the bottom half. I did not glue the top because I kind of like the dimension of it being loose. Like it's not flat against the card. It's got a little bit of oomph, but again, that's up to you. So again, I just glued from here down and let the top part be kind of loose. But if you like it completely flat, by all means, glue the whole fern. Just have to do enough so that it's going to stay on the card. And I'm going to tuck him, I think, maybe a little behind this guy. Just kind of lifting the little guy up a little. And you have it where you want it. Just press it down. Just play around with it a little, see where you like, where you think it looks good. I am actually thinking about doing this one down there. So just putting a little bit of glue on the back, enough that's going to stay. And then I'm going to try to tuck this underneath. Just a little bit there. You put it wherever you like it. Now, everybody received an array of leaves. Again, just use your creative license. Like I put a few in the front. I tucked a couple in there, put one there. All I suggest is that you don't use all of your leaves on the front because we are going to be decorating the inside of the card too. You can see the inside look like this. So save a few leaves to use on the inside as well. So everybody should have at least like 8 or 9 leaves, and you don't have to use them all if you don't want. You can just use some. Should be a few different colors in there. That nice ball look. You can, if you want, you can put some up here by your so thankful for. Put them wherever you think a leaf should be. Just save at least 2 or 3 for the inside of your card. Here. I have no plan. I'm just slapping them down. I have some very gluey fingers right now, so everything's running amok. Everything's sticking to me. While you're doing this, I want to talk to you about card worthiness. That is something people who make handmade cards know well. When you spend this much time and effort to make a beautiful card, you want to make sure you give it to somebody really special. You do not want to give it to somebody who's not going to appreciate it and admire it and look at every intricate detail. So be very selective who gets these cards. because card-worthy people will really ooh and ah and appreciate it. If you give it to somebody and they just go, oh, thank you, they are not card-worthy. They get the store-bought $2.99 card. So you can see this one I made very different from this, not very different, but it's much more spread out and things are lined up a little bit differently. So I have the feeling everybody's cards are going to look very unique and special and beautiful in their own way. And I would love, love, love it if you would email me pictures of your cards when they're all done. Maybe pictures of you with your cards that we can use for our website if you're okay with that. So again, my email is Georgette, Georgette @thegirlcave.com. We would love to see your creations when they're all finished. Okay, I'm just going to give everybody a few minutes to finish up the fronts of their cards. For those of you who want to jump ahead, you're going to see that you have an orange banner. And you're going to have the everything you do banner. And so you're just going to glue this everything you do and then mat it on top of the orange banner. So again, everything you do is going to go on top of this guy. Like that. So it's just a real small matting, but just gives it a little more color. See, looks like that. And then this is just going to go right in the center of the inside of your card. So this is what it's going to look like. You're just going to lay it down there. And then hopefully you saved some leaves and you can go ahead and decorate however you want on the inside with your leaves. Okay, so right in the center. Sort of. Okay, and I'm going to use my leaves. Just to jazz it up a little bit. Put one there. My fingers are so sticky. Sticking better to my fingers than it is to the card. I have to use another part of my hand at this point. And let's go that way. And now, when somebody receives this beautiful card, they're going to open it up to yet more beauty. Isn't that amazing? So simple, so easy. Now everybody can say that they know how to make handmade cards. And I just want to thank everybody so much for participating. Please know that the money you spent is going to a wonderful cause, Soroptimist. are doing a lot of work for women and girls in our community, and you have all helped us to do that. So thank you all so much for everything. And stay tuned. If this goes well, we'll do another one. Take care. Bye-bye.